Good afternoon, everyone. Assalamualaikum, salam sejahtera. I hope everyone is happy and healthy. Welcome to SGBP webinar series. Saya Retno Indrawati, Master Student at School of Government and Public Policy Indonesia, and I will be your moderator for today's webinar. I would like to mention the guideline for today's webinar. First, please do not click share screen in any circumstances, and to reduce network usage and prevent unnecessary interruption, please video and microphone off until you are given a chance to ask questions. And as we'd love to hear from the audience, we will have Q&A session right after the presentation from the speaker. And to ask questions during Q&A session, you can select participants and the raise hand button will be visible at the bottom. And lastly, please keep your question concise and quick. And before we begin, I would like to invite the CEO of SGBP, Bapak Odi Jamhari, Mas Oni, to give a warm greeting to the audience. So please welcome Mas Oni.
Thank you very much, Mbak Retno. Thank you very much, Pak Hermawan, for spending your time with us. And this is actually first time, Pak, after some time we met, I think last year or 2 years ago in South Korea. So thank you very much, Pak Hermawan, for giving, like a lecture today to our audience. Hope that our collaboration actually will continue. And I hope you also enjoy the session, Pak Hermawan. So. Yeah, better now. Thank you.
Thank you, Mas Oni. Okay, audience, on today's webinar series, we are so lucky to have a very special guest speaker and expert in the marketing industry to share his thoughts and insight, Bapak Hermawan Kartajaya, founder and chairman of Marketplace Inc. Pak Hermawan wrote 8 international books with Professor Philip Kotler, the father of modern marketing. Thank you, Pak Hermawan, for joining us today. I believe everyone here is already familiar with Pak Hermawan Kartajaya, but I would like to mention some of his notable contributions to the world of marketing industry. As we know, Pak Hermawan wrote some big books in the marketing industry, such as Marketing 3.0, translated into 26 languages, and Marketing 4.0, translated into 24 languages. He was also acknowledged as 50 gurus who have shaped the future of marketing by the Chartered Institute of Marketing in United Kingdom 2003. Currently, Pak Hermawan is the co-founder of Asia Marketing Federation, chairman of International Council for Small Business Chapter Indonesia, and chairman of ACSB, Asia Council for Small Business. Honorary Council of Czech Republic for East Java, Central Java, and Yogyakarta. I've noticed some interesting statements that Pak Hermawan mentioned on your previous talks, such as the omni-human, where human becoming more human, customer intimacy, how to do this now, and probably we can discuss about this later on. What kind of strategic framework to handle the current situation, what is the new normal in marketing industry, and what should we prepare. So this is a very interesting topic, and without further ado, please welcome our guest speaker, Pak Hermawan Kartajaya. The time is yours, Pak.
Yeah. So, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Happy fasting to who is doing fasting. So, thank you for inviting me, Pak Oni. Pak Oni is my long-time friend. Yeah, we know each other. And then Pak Oni also was taking care of me when I was teaching 3 weeks in Korea, because he was working for that business school in one small city, but very famous for IT, because KAIS, you know, the famous business school and technology school also in that city. And 1 hour by KTX from Seoul. And then I know Pak Gita Wirjawan, the founder of SGPP, and he is a smart man and successful guy, and also very handsome, very handsome. And I really want to visit your campus after seeing the picture, like White House, yeah, in Sentul. Wah, Pak Gita Wirjawan for sure will have already have a dream to have his campus. This is not easy to run SGPP, I know. And I know from Pak Oni that this is the sixth batch already. And from many, many years, you have alumni already. And today, we know that so many alumni also join the webinar. So this is the indication that this is good. MacPlus is already 30 years. I founded 30 years ago, 1st of May 1990. And I already co-authored many, many books with Professor Philip Kotler, the father of modern marketing in the world, since 1998. So this year will be about 22 years. I'm 72 years old, going to be 73, and diabetics from 37 years ago, and then asthmatic also from the childhood, and also blood pressure. So that's why I'm working from home already almost for 2 months. And my virtual background is not my home, because my home is not good to be a virtual background, to be a background. So this is what we call Hermawan Kartajaya Creativity Launch. I didn't see this launch because it will be launched when our campus, we call it campus also, one floor in Kokas, 8th floor in the Tower 88, and my home is in the Casa Grande, is Kokas also. So we have one floor. We bought. So I have a teacher DNA like Pak Gita also, a passion for knowledge, and this is my dream also, to have a campus. So we have been working with School of Business and Management, ITB, and to have the only strategic marketing EMBA in Indonesia. Already 4th batch and becoming more and more applicant to come, and the student also quality from more and more. And then I prepare for this special occasion. I'm not only using the slide that I always use, but I combine with my understanding about public policy. So I give you the title, Universe of Public Policy, Entrepreneurial Marketing, Omni Way, because I believe that if you want to study public policy, especially master degree, and you must understand a little bit about economy, you have to understand a little bit about social culture, and blah, 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 because public policy is very interesting. Yeah, for sure, Pak Gita Wirjawan is the expert, but I know him personally very well, because when he was the head of promotion agency for export, and then also for Minister of Trade, we met several times, and he mentioned about his dream to have this school. So I'm very happy to be here. Thank you again for inviting me. Okay, so I started by playing one beautiful song composed by Dr. Jackie Musri. He's a PhD, not like me. I'm honorary doctorate degree. I'm a failure story in formal education. After not completing my bachelor degree in engineering in ITS, but finally I got the first honorary doctorate degree in ITS. And then nobody in Indonesia want to give me professorship. That's why I got my distinguished professorship from Korea. So I'm a failure story. I'm not a PhD, so I don't have any scientific. I don't use any scientific data, but I saw the data and try to use my instinct. That's why Professor Philip Kotler maybe see me as a different guy from Indonesia, from Asia. When we met each other in 1998 in Moscow, he told me, let's do a book, Repositioning Asia. I predicted correctly that Asia will revive again. And Mark Plus, to be honest, was created in 1990, but 8 years suffering because nobody want to use marketing. Now, also public policy, you must understand politician, you must understand bureaucrat, you must understand lobbyists from business and pressure group from social culture. But now becoming more and more government agency invite me and Mark Plus to help with marketing because now they want to know more about marketing. Marketing is not only communication, marketing is not only selling, marketing is not only public relation, but I will share to you how we can use strategic marketing. So hopefully this is the first step to work with SGPP. Mark Plus already 30 years. I have a teacher DNA. Passion for knowledge is very high. So I'm happy if we can collaborate more. How to SGPP can use our strategic marketing domain. So call me the domain expert. So many domain experts, right? Poverty and then labor and whatever. If you try to understand public policy, you must have wide perspective. Okay, let's listen to the beautiful song by Jackie Festival.
Striking my eyes, here comes a moment of truth, a profound ray of hope. We have the call to be as one and always do the right thing, to shine real character. Yes, we can be a great nation for real. We spark like a star, always bright in the sky. Yes, we can show integrity, raise humanity, shape a grand dignity. Oh, this is our time. Feel the strong spirit glow, show the true colors grow, cheer the freedom to wish, let the will unleash, set the power run free, make the universe see, always clear, always hold on to what we believe in. Yes, we can be a great nation for real. We spark like a star, always bright in the sky. Yes, we can show integrity, raise humanity, shape a grand dignity. Oh, yes, we can be a great nation for real. We spark like a star, always bright in the sky.
So this is our time to think about Indonesia, because after COVID, the global landscape will be different. It will never be the same again. So I start with my first slide. I always use this framework when I start to talk about marketing. This is what I call anatomy of change. Technology, political, legal, economy, social culture, and market. And to me, if you want to study public policy, you must understand economy, you must understand social culture. And then the technology a little bit, because technology will be changing all the landscape. Marketing from market, creating value. Political, legal, economy, and social culture is about 3G for me. Governance, whatever the political system, like China now with central government is very strong, Vietnam, or US democratic political system, but the governance is very important. Even the king will be stepping down if the people are not seeing that they are not good in governance. Economy is growth. Not only growth for sure, but also how is the justice, how is the parity among the people. And social culture is about goodness. We can debate about the definition about political, legal, economy, social culture. And technology about wave. Remember the third wave, Alvin Toffler? Now, maybe fourth wave, Industry 4.0, and will be going to fifth wave. My book with Philip Kotler, 3.0, 4.0, 27 languages, 23 languages, about human spirit, about technology only. But this year, our publisher, John Wiley, push us, Philip Kotler, Hermawan, and Iwan Setiawan, to finalize the book. And the book must be published this year. Must be, because technology for humanity. Technology for humanity. This is paradox. Omni. Technology only is easier, but it's dangerous. Humanity only is good to understand, but without technology, we cannot do the productivity and blah blah blah. Okay, so politician, you must understand politician, because public policy, to my understanding, is how to translate the political vision through regulation, through policy, whatever, to create value for citizens. So the goodness must be enjoyed by the citizen. To us, in marketing world, citizen is our customer. So that's why I always say to my government friend, wali kota, bupati, governor, even minister, that people, citizen is our customer. And I try to share that you are competing with competitor. Who is the competitor? Ada ministries, and ada cities, and ada kabupaten, and even ada countries. Yeah. So this is the terminology that usually used by the marketing guy, competitor, and customer, and company. But there is a change. There is a change. This is the anatomy of change. And this is what we call PES, usually, political, legal, economy, social culture, and technology. Technology is the wave. You must see the wave, because technology, the latest technology, usually is easily accepted by the social culture, not by the political legal. Everybody knows that political legal is always complicated. But government relation guy who are the student of SGPP now, sent by the corporation, it is from the economic player. I don't know how many students from community, from social culture, but NGO, non-government organization, international or local or regional, usually they have their own agenda from social culture. This is good, this is good, this is good. They argue with their own definition. And economic player, I want to contribute to this country with growth, growth, growth. And then the government, the politician, the bureaucrat is complete. But at the end of the day, if the policy cannot create value, the real value in the market, it is nothing. That's why strategic marketing domain can help. Yeah. So I would like to share with the second slide what I did for Asian Productivity Organization, 4th of May, 2020. Until now, so many webinars by APO based in Tokyo with 21 countries. But I'm lucky. I checked this morning in the YouTube, 3,800 viewers already, the highest among all the webinars. Maybe this is different from the other speaker. You don't need to be better. You don't need to be the best. You just need to be different. That is marketing. Next. I share some slides from this talk. New next post. I believe this is new normal. This is new normal. So many government people use new normal is the next. That is post-normal to me. It will never be the same again. Now, World Health Organization, maybe, they say that maybe the virus will not go away. So, work from home, return to office, back to normal. It depends on the situation. Jakarta will be different from Surabaya, will be different from Sulawesi. So, every mayor, every provinces could decide for sure under the coordination of central government. So, to me, new next post. Yeah, next. And in Asia Productivity Organization talk, I discussed a little bit about what is the difference between the two approaches, West and Asia. New, World War Z, battle with Corona. Next, you only live twice, peace with Corona. We only live twice, one and another one. So we have to live with Corona, finally, a whole new world, but it's a whole new world. So back to my model, political, legal, and economy and social culture, you can see that West is usually the focus on political, legal. Asia is on social culture. That's why if you study public policy in the West, and many academicians still from the West, and not so many academic papers from the East, from Asia. So that's why we are strongly influenced by political legal, by their definition. But now you know with this COVID, to me personally, believe me, that the world becoming more balanced after COVID. West must compromise with Asia and must doing consensus with Asia. Technology economy market is the main. Technology economy market is the main. Whether you are West or you are Asia, now you try very hard the technology to make the economy going up again, to create value in the market after COVID 2019. Next. This is the other slide that I use in APO. You see, strategy, tactic, value, and values, technology, humanity. You remember my next book, Technology for Humanity, Marketing 5.0. And I will organize World Marketing Forum in Kamakura, 21 and 22 October next year. So I think it will be safe. But you see, West and Asia is different. They are more on management and professionalism. They are more on innovation and creativity. They are more on individual and think. They are more in share and play. But we are very different. For sure, if you check the reference book, the academic journal, all in Asian scope, leadership, entrepreneurship, social practice, improvement, productivity, learn and work, all covered by the West. But does not necessarily mean that Asia is not rising. So that's why in Asia Marketing Federation, I'm the founder now with 21 countries. I'm also the chair of Asia Council Small Business. I pump the spirit of my members in Asia. Asia to the world. This is the time to sit. We learn from the West, but we have to integrate it. Omni, online and offline, technology, humanity, strategy and tactic, value and values. All the paradox thing must be integrated. Marketing communication is only tactic. So that's why the government people only talking about public communication. Yes, public communication, but if you don't have a clear strategic framework, you will fail. You will lose the blueprint, the strategic thinking. So that's why, hopefully, I can contribute something here. Next. Wei Qi. This is from my first book with Philip Kotler, 1998. Asian crisis, no confidence about Asia, but there is a Chinese saying, Wei Qi. Crisis is danger and opportunity. Professional always see from the danger side, but entrepreneurs see from the opportunity side. Long term, not short term. Pak Khairul Tanjung becoming big after 1998. MNC Boss also from 1998. So many, the product of 1998, because they saw the opportunity. Maybe Pak Gita Wirjawan, I can safely say that becoming big and becoming wealthy after 1998. He is one of the elite people now, not only in smart, but also in wealthy, and not only in smartness, but he is young. He was born after 1998. I started Markless before marketing is really needed, 1990 until 1998. After Pak Harto stepped down, so now all government people ask me to give advice. Politicians, if they want to win the election, they need strategic marketing. Now, they understand tactical is not enough anymore. You must have strategic point of view. And not so many government people, to be honest, want to learn the real strategic framework. They just go to the advice of PR, the advice of marketing, public communication, blah, blah, blah. But I cannot blame them because the domain of public policy is not including strategic marketing. Next. Fuka and Damo. This is entrepreneurial spirit. You see, this is from the West. Volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. Fuka. You saw the technology, political, legal, economy, social, culture, and market. This is part of the anatomy of change. Change, competitor, customer, and company. My 4C model. The first model, that you must understand if you want to have strategic framework, strategic thinking in public policy, is to understand FOSI. Use FOSI to understand the landscape. And DAMO, discover, adventure, momentum, outlook. This is from the optimism. This is from pessimism. This is from the West. This is from Asia. This is from Jack Ma, Alibaba. And in this COVID, you need strong leadership. PQ, you must be intellectually, physical, healthy. If you are not healthy, you cannot think. You cannot control your emotion. EQ is very important. Don't blame the situation. Don't blame government all the time. Don't grumble only, but contribute. IQ and SQ. Logic and unity. Technology for humanity. So please switch the way we think from ambiguous to how to understand the momentum and how to use the momentum to create new Indonesia after 2021 until 2030. I call it the Indonesia decade. Yeah, I will talk a little bit more after this. Next. I will talk again. May 2020. Oh, this is my other talk in Korea. I get invitation to Korea many times after teaching in Pak Solbridge, the business school where Pak Oni was working. Maybe because of Solbridge, yeah. Now I got invitation from Korean government with Korean always try to respect the thinking, because as you know, professorship in Korea is very high status. So I'm not professor, but I got my distinguished professor from one higher learning institute under Ministry of Industry. So I talk of May 2020. And then next, I will talk again, business post-COVID-19, the great actualization Asian decade. This is for MTN, Money Today. And then I will talk again for the third time for World Forum in Korea. Maekyeong Daily, the famous #1 media, organized the World Knowledge Forum every year. So that's why I want to share the preliminary slide from Korea. Next. Now I start with why. I always structure my talk with why, what, how. The preliminary slide, I was speaking about my understanding about the universe of public policy, and then followed by my Korean slide. And now, maybe so many people know about marketing mix, product, price, place, promotion. And for government people, the product is the policy. The product is for policy. For the parliament member, the product is law, regulation, because they are collaborating with executive. And for police and court and judge, maybe the product is the law enforcement. But every product has a price because there is a cost. Yeah, in business, price minus cost is profit. So get profit. So, but this is taboo in public policy. We cannot talk about profit, but this is our internal discussion. Place, channel, and promotion. We have to communicate. So you see, communication is only one of the 4 P. And actually, Market mix is only one of my 9 elements: segmentation, targeting, positioning, differentiation, marketing mix, selling, brand, service, process. That is total marketing. So public communication is only one element of the product marketing mix, which is followed the product. If you have the product, you must promote the product. Government must promote the policy with the price. They will buy it or not. The citizen will buy it or not. And through what channel? But Philip Kotler with Nancy Lee, she is my friend also, 2006, issue that 4P is not enough anymore. Now, power and public relation. They refer to a multinational. If multinational came to Indonesia, I don't know how many multinational company the student here from. They must use power and public relation. This is taboo also. Wow, multinational come to Indonesia doing public relation. But some people say that, wow, China company public relation is bad. Japanese is good. They use Japan Foundation. They use JETRO. They use many tools. That's why now Korea start with Korea Foundation. In Korea, I always talk, if you want to come to Indonesia, you must understand the social culture of Indonesia. That is part of public relation. Don't use only power. Power you lobby. The political legal, you lobby parliament, you lobby minister. And Japanese is very good. That's why they are powerful in ASEAN. They are dominant in ASEAN. Because they want to listen. They want to go to social culture. While Korean, sometimes, even China is worse. They only want to make friends with the high-ranking government. I know their strength. I know their weakness. If you are talking about Asia, Northeast Asia is the most advanced. Korea, China, and Japan. Japan is advanced in civilization. They are mature already. Korea is in the middle. China is a new superpower. They always try to understand, but not so easy to understand the social culture. That's why they are not very good in public relations. So SGPP can help the corporate people here who are the students how to use power and public relation, right? You must balance how your company is working with the government and how your company is doing public relation, doing CSR, and sometimes because public relation is not only bullshitting, communicating to the public, but the real CSR that create value to the citizen. That is very important to balance with the power that you lobby. So that's why market in one hand, you still remember technology, political, legal, economy, social culture, and market creating value, your product, your price, your place, your promotion, creating value. But you must use the public policy, strategic marketing domain to use power and public relation. Political, legal, and social culture is always must be balanced. You know, still political, legal, economy, and social culture. Yeah, pressure group is from social culture. NGO from social culture. Lobbyists go to the power. But remember, there is an NGO, police watch and whatever, corruption watch and whatever. Okay, next. So, referring to the COVID, new news. Work from home, return to office, back to normal. Normal, I put quote and quote. Because what you call normal, maybe we have to live with corona. We have to live with AIDS now. We have to live with HIV. We have to live with terrorism. Even US cannot eliminate terrorism. They kill Al-Qaeda leader, they kill ISIS leader. But do you think terrorism is gone? No. Because in social cultural superstructure, there's an ideology on top. Religion, art, superstructure in social culture. That's why public policy guy must understand the social culture structure. Structure, okay, what is the institution? Not only political institution, but institution in business, institution in everything, in social culture also. But infrastructure, road, bridge, and many things that is now built by Pak Jokowi. Whether you like Pak Jokowi or not, let's admit that now Surabaya Solo is only 2 hours, and Lampung Palembang is only 2.5 hours. So that is the infrastructure. Infrastructure, not only tangible infrastructure in social culture. So by understand the social culture, you can make peace with NGO. By understanding the social culture, superstructure, structure, infrastructure, here, wow, not easy. Now, you know, Indonesia terserah. Artists, you cannot ignore artists because art is in the superstructure. Yeah, and religious leader, especially in Asia, is very powerful because they are in the superstructure. In the West, they are not so strong anymore. But historically, even in Europe, the church leader is very powerful. So we cannot blame only, how can Indonesia? No. The West always starting everything. But the West realized, first, I have what? I like Kishore Mahbubani. The logic of one world, Asia, West, and the logic of one world. But I don't like his book, Can Asian Think, 1998. He's Singaporean, used to be the diplomat, the chief of Singapore in the United Nations. I don't like his book. Have the West lost it? Okay, this one is better than Can Asian Think. He convinced the West, hey, maybe you will lose if you want to make America great again, and then UK going out from Europe. So everybody becoming more localized now. It's dangerous. Let's put our nationalism in humanity, like Pancasila. So you see, government and company. Now some of you working for government, and some of the students now working from company. I heard from Pak Oni that only 4 from government, this batch, the 6 batch, and 30-something from company, GovRel, government relation. That's why I asked also my government and public service division, my people from Magplus, we have analysts, we have relation officer, especially government. We serve many government and several NGO also to be here to understand what is my blueprint. And after COVID-19, I already decided to make this model becoming more comprehensive. Government must do relief, recover, and reform. That is not recovery, yeah, Edwin. Please correct. Recover, relief, recover, and reform. This is all verb because Pak Gita Pak Gita is very perfect in English. So I'm worried that it will be read by Pak Gita. And how can the English is not parallel? Relief, recover, and reform. That is Roosevelt, 1933 until 1945. The only American president elected for 4 times. He suffered polio. At that time, like COVID, no medicine. But he recovered. And then he was on the wheelchair when he was the president. 4 times. And 1933, still Malaysia. Economic crisis, including US. Wow. But he started with relief. Relief. How to relieve the economy? Helping the now small medium enterprise must be helped, and then all the unemployed must be helped. Bansos, bantuan sosial, social aid, and whatever. That is relief. But if you are already in the yellow zone, you can start with to recover. Creating job, creating opportunity maybe by building infrastructure and everything. And reform. This is for 2021. To me, the great actualization. That's why I always use SPA to help companies surviving and servicing, preparing and actualizing. So many companies surviving now, but some companies in the growth zone. If you are in pharmaceutical industry, you must service. Not surviving, service. Because high demand. But maybe the customer need something. That's why company must react and government must relieve. But next normal, government must recover, company must respond. What is the difference between react and respond? React is just immediate. Respond, you must do sensing. After 1 month, 2 months at home, you must sense. Not only the real need and want, but also the expectation and perception. And the last, what is the anxiety and desire? So sometimes people use the reimagine. Yes, to revitalize, you need to reimagine. But I use the term revitalize. Let's revitalize our company, let's revitalize government, and let's revitalize Indonesia. Yeah, next. Next. And this is my 4C. I repeat again. This is my first model to understand marketing. Anatomy of change is the wave from technology that create growth for economy and create value for the market. And political legal for governance, and then economy for growth, social culture for goodness. So NGO trying to define what is goodness and trying to balance everything. So if the government cannot function, so usually it will be taken over by NGO, and it is very dangerous for stability. Yeah, and then competitor, customer, and company. This is, I take it from Mind of the Strategies, from Kenichi Ome. Wow, good book. In order to win the competition, whether you are government or your company, you must use this framework. Who are your competitor? Who are your customer? And you are the company. I train Jogja government since 1998. From 1998, Pak Sultan at that time approached me, Pak Hermawan, if you don't feel safe in Jakarta, you know, I'm 7th generation in Indonesia. Even I feel Indonesian, I feel worry also in 1998. Come to Jogja. Jogja is benteng terakhir Pancasila, the last fortress of Pancasila. I will protect you. But please help me with the brand, Jogja brand. I can safely say that the first governor who realized how important is brand is Pak Sultan. Now, so many regional government. Yeah, so many. Even now, Pak Jokowi, before he was winning the election, I met him in 2014 in 2013, yeah, 2013 in his house in Solo, Pak Hermawan. If I'm the president, I would like to unite TTI, trade, tourism, investment. Yeah, but not easy, Pak. Under one brand is good. What is Indonesia? Wonderful Indonesia for tourism and creative Indonesia for whatever, every sectors, because they are coming from different ministries. So now we are lucky. 17th of August, I think there is already presidential regulation about Indonesia. We thought wonderful. Indonesia have to be used by investment, trade, and tourism. Okay, so every government ministries, they have competitor, they have customer, and they are company. Must have entrepreneurial spirit, must have marketing mindset. And if you are a corporation, GovRel, if you are government relation, you must understand, if you do CSR in one area, which competitor doing the same thing with you? And which customer segment is enjoying your CSR? If you do PR, corporate PR, in order to influence the public opinion, which competitor are doing the same thing? And which segment, which audience do you target? Those threat, opportunity, weakness, and strength. I don't buy SWOT, strength, weakness, opportunity, and threat. It's different. Threat and opportunity first. So you must focus on the change. You know, how can I get 50 gurus who have shaped the future of marketing for CIM UK in 2003? Because I put change. 3C from Kenichi Ome, competitor, customer, and company, I just put change because it will be for the future. I said that in order to create a strategy must be created based on the analysis, not on the present, but in the future. How can you analyze the landscape if you don't understand the mapping, the anatomy of change, political, legal, economic, social, culture, and technology? Because technology always create new waves, next waves, post wave that create value in the market. Next. What? Why? What? Strategy, tactic, value, positioning, differentiation, branding. This is the core of marketing. After 4C, PDB. You create perception by having positioning, clear positioning, especially if you want to do public communication, whether you are in GovRel or in the government. Differentiation is the reality. If you only claim something, if you promise something to create perception, and there is no reality to support, you will be nothing. Citizen will not buy your idea. And brand is your reputation. PDB, image is nothing without integrity. But positioning is the identity. Strategy, tactic, value, not values. Values is in the core. So for me, marketing is simple. When I met Professor Philip Kotler in 1988 in Moscow, talking about Asian crisis, I'm lucky because nobody spoke English in Moscow at that time. I was the second speaker, he was the first speaker. And he has no friend, and he listened to me. Wow, usually he will go away after speaking. But in Moscow, nothing to do. So he listened to me, and then he was interested. Wow, you have simple model. You simplify my complicated concept. Yes, I said, I didn't complete my engineering degree. But I have my logic. I learned from engineering that I have the logic. I use model to simplify the understanding. Marketing is only 4C and PDB, not 3C. 3C is not enough because we create strategy for the future, not for the present. One mayor, one one governor will be happy if you help them by putting what will be the future, because many of them want to get re-elected, or even already 2 terms, they want their candidate to win the competition. So that's why understanding the wave, understanding the trend before PDB. Next. How? This is my last part. 9 core elements of marketing: segmentation, targeting, positioning, about customer management, differentiation, marketing mix, product, price, promotion, and selling, about product management, and brand supported by service and process is brand management. But the core is PDB. And with this COVID, we have to re-strategizing. We have to re-tacticaling. We have to recreating the value. That is the responsibility for every company in Indonesia, every government, whether local government, regional, or central government, for Indonesia. I don't think it will never be the same again. So don't even think, wow, if you are a tourist guy, you just wait. Wow, this is SARS, this is MERS, like SARS, MERS. They will come back here. And based on the survey of C-Trip in China, they will come back to Bali as the first destination. After Bali is Macau and Hong Kong, but maybe they will come back to Bali with different qualification. That's why we have to reposition Bali with new positioning, new differentiation, new branding. Bali is everything. Bali is everything. The Western guy love it. The Chinese guy love it. Even King Salman love it. Now, Saudi Arabian tourists grow and grow in Bali. But that is not enough. The culture is not enough. Trihita Karana maybe is not enough. We have to guarantee the cleanliness, the safety, the healthy, the safety. CHS. Maybe the new requirement. Maybe you have to collaborate with credible agency to back up you that you are safe already. Our campus in MAKPLUS, now we are thinking about next normal. Now new normal, everything online and everything, and we are switching very fast. So many customer think, how can Hermawan is baby boomer 30 years ago. Now, how can we switch fast? The secret is Gen Y and Gen Z in MAKPLUS. We give them opportunity to work. We train them as a leader. Take initiative. Work from home is not a holiday. Please be enthusiastic. Stay more productive, more creative. While so many government agencies are struggling with this work from home. Not easy, because our culture is so different from Western culture. Yeah, Western culture is very difficult also to control. Work from home, right? China, one central government. Okay, work from home. Stay at home. Not easy. It depends on the political system. Like Saudi Arabia king instruct, okay, stay at home in Hari Raya Idul Fitri. Because one government, king, and one central government in Vietnam. That's why Vietnam is successful. But New Zealand is successful also. Political system is democracy, but the people are not so big. And Singapore perceived to be safe. And then second wave came. Yeah, all illegal worker from their dormitory create a problem. So government and government relation, GovRel, needs to understand this is the framework. So public communication is one only. Promotion is only 1/4 from the marketing mix. You must understand the 4C and then PDB and 9 element. And customer product brand. Only 3. I simplify the complex thing. Sorry, so many professors complicate the simple thing. But I simplified the complex thing. Okay, next. And then now, the last slide. This is my model. Q1, Q2 surviving and servicing, preparing Q2, Q3. Now we are in Q2, coming to Q3. That's why my first webinar on the 3rd of April paid 720 people. And my second webinar, I already asked the promotion, the permission from Pak Oni to promote my second webinar will be on the 2nd of July, Q3. My final chapter in the COVID SPA 2020 will be in October, 9th of October. I believe that prepare and actualize from Q4, not only panic with this virus, not only waiting for the vaccine. No, we don't need to wait for the vaccine. I believe that the virus will not go away. Do you think SARS and MERS virus go away? No, but we can tame, we can control them. We can control terrorism. We can control HIV and AIDS, right? The most important that we have to live with Corona. This is SPA, and then this is my offer. Next slide. The great actualization. Let's work together. Indonesia Decade 2030. Now, COVID year. Okay. 2nd and 3rd December this year, we will do again Mark Plus Conference. You still remember the song? The music was played. The beautiful song by Dr. Jackie Musli at our 6th Mark Plus Conference in 2011. Now, already many Mark Plus conferences. Still, we will conduct, but day 1 on the 2nd of December online, and day 2 will be offline. Omni, online, offline. You must be an omni guy, not only online and offline. How to integrate leadership and management, how to integrate professionalism and entrepreneurship. If you are professional, no entrepreneurial spirit cannot. If you are entrepreneur, no professional spirit cannot. Creativity and productivity and improvement and innovation. This is Indonesia Decade. Why? This is the reason. Next slide. 4 reasons. The only ASEAN G20 is us. And 2030 will be top of demographic bonus. We are interesting for Korea. We are interesting for China. We are interesting for even for US, for Europe. ASEAN is the most harmonious region in Asia. And Asia is world #1, for sure. After this, Trump cannot kill China, and China also not so easy to beat US. Even in 2030, maybe China will be #1 economy in the world in terms of GDP. And Japan, Indonesia, Korea, and India also. 5 Asian countries in G20. So we are big already. And Pancasila. Keep it Pancasila. And make Pancasila happening in our government relation, and make Pancasila happening in public policy. I illustrate Pancasila is like this. God, one God, humanity, unity and diversity, national democracy, Indonesian democracy. We don't need to follow only the West. We don't need to follow China because we are not China. But everything must go to social welfare. Next, this is my closing slide. Machine is cool, but human is warm. Artificial intelligence is nothing without natural intelligence. And IQ is nothing without love Q. This is from Jack Ma. And before going to Q&A, this is my short video for SPA 2020. Marilah kita bagi tahun 2020 itu menjadi kuartal 1, 2, 3, 4 sampai Q3 kita harus prihatin. Surviving dan preparing, terutama pada kuartal 2. Semuanya lagi kena storming. Perdagangan lagi mikirin bagaimana ekspornya bisa cepat. Ya, industri farmasi itu ada yang naik sampai 2 kali, 4 kali. Bagaimana Anda terutama tahun 2020 ini harus segera mempunyai rencana SPA, surviving, preparing, actualizing, atau servicing, preparing, actualizing.
Okay, thank you Pak Hermawan for such an interesting presentation. I believe the audience are already impatient to ask several questions regarding your presentation. And for the first session, I would like to give a chance for 3 to 5 questions. We have here from Jeffy Susanto. Jeffy Susanto is one of our students at SGPP. Do you want to ask your question directly, Mas Jeffy?
Yes, Mbak Retno.
Go ahead, Mas
Okay.
Jeff.
Yes, thank you so much, Mbak Retno. And thank you so much, Pak Hermawan, for your good presentations. Good afternoon, Pak Hermawan.
Yes, good afternoon.
Let me introduce myself. My name is Jeff. Currently, I'm a student at SGPP, School of Government of Public Policy. Please send my regards to Pak Jeki Musri, Pak.
Oh.
Actually, yeah, Pak Jeki Musri, because I almost joined Mark Plus in 2018, last 2 years.
Oh, yeah?
And
okay.
yeah, but
Okay,
finally
okay.
I just joined, at Kota Casablanca, right? And finally, I just joined.
So which company are you working at now?
Right now, I have been working for Manulife, and previously,
insurance, yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
I have previously, because my background is meteorological and materials engineering from University of Indonesia.
Smart guy. Engineering is smart.
Thank you, Pak.
Okay.
Yeah, I had been working in Pertamina and in the bank. Yeah, in the bank also, Pak. So after that, I joined for the Blemba at Blemba.
Now we have SMEMBA now. We have SMEMBA, Strategic Marketing EMBA. In English also already fourth batch.
Yeah, I almost joined that one, Pak. Actually, almost joined that one. Yeah.
It's
so
okay.
Basically,
is give you different point of view, so you will be comprehensive. But you can still make friend with us.
Yes, sure, Pak. Sure. Maybe after COVID-19 outbreak, I will meet you and Pak Jeki Musri.
Sure.
Also, Pak. Okay.
Please join our class. You can join for free our class for 1 time or 2 time as a listener if you want.
Oh, thank you so much, Pak Hermawan. I would like to attend that class actually, Pak. But actually, well, I would like to ask you a question regarding right now we are facing VUCA era. So VUCA is
VUCA, yeah.
volatile, uncertainty. Yes, VUCA era, right? And then, like you said before, like Jack Ma said to us that we must do DAMO, right?
Yes.
DAMO. So, do you think this is the most relevant to facing VUCA era right now, or there is another option beside DAMO? That is my first question. And then my second question is, in strategic marketing, we must do recreating the value in terms of strategy, tactics, and value. And I have learned a bit in strategy. STP, if I'm not mistaken, is segmentation,
positioning.
yeah, targeting and position.
Yeah, and then
positioning, right? So does it related with the hierarchy of the needs in the future? Like at the bottom up is the psychological the needs of our society, and then the next is safety needs, social needs, and self-esteem, statics, and the top one is self-actualization. So from this kind of strategic marketing, so do you think, once again, do you think the best strategy for us right now to facing the COVID-19 outbreak? Yeah.
Okay. So
Yes.
Let's do the
That
second question.
Okay.
Yes.
Pak Hermawan, would you like to answer directly, or should we read another question?
Number one, I like DAMO because DAMO is very simple. VUCA, volatility is related to change. The change is volatile because of this COVID, right? But please discover what is the opportunity from the volatile thing. And then uncertain the competitor. Because we don't know who is our real competitor now. Some competitors are quiet, some competitors are very aggressive. And even some competitors of Mark Plus is very quiet and then die already. But we are 30 years still adventure. Try this, try that. And complexity. Customer is complex to understand. Yes, complex to understand. But this is the momentum to find. I will explain a little bit better. And then ambiguous. The company is so many company is ambiguous. Expand or not expand? To cut the budget of training or not to cut? Expand on blah blah blah. But outlook. That's why I ask everybody now talk about SPA, the great actualization until 2030. And number two, about the hierarchy needs of Maslow, everybody know. But I don't think need and want will be valid in next and post-normal. Now we need to be deeper than need and want. Need hierarchy of Maslow is only effective for the need and want. But we go deeper. This is what I call expectation perception. And the deepest level is anxiety desire. So reimagination, revitalizing, that is very important to understand the anxiety desire. Now, several companies ask Mark Plus to do online survey. Very fast. Don't wait. We want to know what is the anxiety and desire of the customer. Next. Not only about the conventional methodology, because I believe that the conventional methodology of research will be gone. If you only understand it and want, you will be losing momentum because your competitor already know already. But you must go into deeper expectation, perception, and anxiety, desire. Yeah, hopefully it helped, Jeffrey. Come to Magnus again.
Okay, Mas Jeffy, is that answer your questions? Hello, Mas Jeff. Hopefully the answer is enough, and if you still have any question, you can type also in the chat room.
Yes.
Pak
Okay.
Hermawan.
Thank you so much, Baratno and
Thank you.
Pak
Thank you.
Okay.
Hermawan.
Yeah, we already have several questions here, Pak. I noted here in chat. We have the questions from Mbak Hastriansyah. Mbak Hastriansyah, would you like to ask your question directly, or should I read it for you? Mbak Hastriansyah?
Yeah, I would like to.
Oh, Mas Hastriansyah. Go ahead, Mas Hastriansyah. Sorry.
Yeah.
Is from SGPP also?
Yes,
Mas
I'm
Hastriansyah.
from SGPP, batch 2, and I'm working as a consultant from Australia-Indonesia Partnership on Economic Governance.
Oh.
And I also got a placement in Jakarta PTSP office. We got.
This is by Aussie government, yeah? By Aussie federal government, yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
Pak Hermawan, I still remember in 2018, PTSP DKI Jakarta got an award from you for public service, Jabodetabek Award in 2018. And I was there also to meet you. It was an honor to meet you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Basically, I have an entrepreneur side, Pak Hermawan. I started my own business in 2003, and it's a tours and travel agency. And I have this, situation within this COVID-19. Our armada, we have rent cars, tour operators, and also speedboats to Thousand Islands, Pulau Seribu, Pak. And within this past 2 to 3 months, even since January, since the flooding and then heavy rain all the time, plus the coronavirus, we simply are struggling with the income. And I have tried to do some. We have tried to do some strategy, like you mentioned, for the land transport. We change it into transportation for logistic and for PPE equipment delivery, for example, and also for the speedboats. We also try to make it as logistic transport, and we already put it on social media to market it on social media, Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp group. But there's no demand. So I'm not sure what happened, whether it's the people simply try to hold on to money, don't want to spend anything. We even promoted to 50% discount, everything, but no income. What do you think, Pak Hermawan?
I know. So, Mas, this is about your own business, right? Not about Aussie to Indonesia, right? Yeah.
No,
I'm very familiar with Aussie. So next time, if you need us, please contact us, because we have very good relationship with Aussie. So many friends also in Australia. I just went to Melbourne, Sydney, and Canberra for almost 2 weeks. So I know many Indonesian there, and also keep in touch with Australian guy also.
Okay, we'll do.
We will not talk about Australia. So many things about Australia in my mind already. Yeah. So if you want to talk about that, that is interesting also. How can we use the COVID momentum for Australia investor to come to Indonesia? Like I will organize on the demand, on the request of the Korean government for a conference G2G, Korea and Indonesia. We are now, Mark+ is famous to do online organizer. So many ministries commission us to do it. But for tourism business, we already have also Mark+ tourism division. Yeah, with some of them, some of my young consultant is graduating from Monash, from Australia. And Monash is very good master in sustainable destination. I don't know whether Nalendra is here or not. If you find Nalendra, you can introduce yourself directly. I have several guys also, and we are the official training partner for GSTC, Global Sustainable Tourism Council. If you cannot do anything, don't do anything. Don't force it. This is surviving. Cash flow, you must take care, but be careful of your balance sheet. Don't this COVID kill you from the asset, especially core asset. And finally, you must prepare and actualize for the next profit. Right? I have my white paper, especially from the 3rd of April. You can ask from Edwin here, my personal assistant, or you can ask Pak Oni to send you my white paper. That is for business. So don't do anything. So you must survive with lean operation. With you try everything, you must fight. You must fight, but prepare when they are coming back with different requirements. That's why surviving, especially if you are tourism agency, preparing and actualization. I believe that Indonesia is beautiful. I travel everywhere, right? I travel everywhere. I know how beautiful in Indonesia. I'm 72 years old, but I like traveling. I cruise 15 times. I have a museum in Bali. Even I'm celebrating my birthday, a priest of Melukat, cleansing spirit, and then 71st birthday in Bandung to be Asep. I'm the first non-Muslim Asep. And then Kang Mas in Jogja. And this year celebrating 73rd birthday. I rotate from one location to another location because I'm friend with many government people. So Indonesia is beautiful, but remember, tourism will become sustainable tourism. So prepare your tourism business to be a sustainable tourism business. Even you are in transportation only, equip your driver and everything with all the protective protection tool. If you have some hotel, please equip now. Now is the time to prepare, and then communicate with your customer, product, brand. So trust me, you must maintain the connection with customer. Don't lose it. Communication must go, but in the framework of strategic. What is the strategic? Tell them how you prepare for the next, how you prepare for the post-normal. So make them convenient. Don't ask them to come because it is wasting. You cut the discount, it's no. But if you tell them that you are preparing something, and then you can book now with 50% price, that is good. But not push them to come now. That is not good for them. So customer, product, innovation, and then finally brand. You must protect your brand. If your brand is already strong before COVID, it is easy. Like us, 30 years. Yeah. Already. So we show to our client that we are switching offline to online very fast. So they trust us. But we are still surviving. because the value of our revenue is not like normal, right? But we are switching online training, online webinar, online almost every day. Some free, some paid, whatever. Yeah. So that's why I advise you, don't give up. If you have the hospitality DNA, tourism DNA, who sell the hotel now in Bali, if they don't have the DNA, they are adventurer only in that area. I have a construction business, I get profit, I invest, but I don't know how to run it. But if you have a DNA in tourism, you have DNA in what you are doing, believe me, you will survive. Yeah, hopefully it helps.
Okay, Mas Astriansyah, is that
Yes.
enough for you?
Yeah, thank you very much for your
answer your
advice,
question.
Pak Hermawan. We are trying our best to survive,
Yeah.
and hopefully
Okay.
to soar in the future. Thank you, thank you.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you, Mas Astriansyah. And Pak Hermawan, this one, the question is related to your previous explanation from Mbak Veronica. So glad that Bapak has positive note about Bali as chosen destination post-COVID-19. Bapak, please share more about what Bali, in particular hotel business, must do to promote Indonesia, particularly Bali, to maintain its status as world tourist spot post-COVID-19. Thank you. This is related to your previous explanation, Pak, about
Veronica
tourism industry.
is the student now, or Veronica is student now, or alumni?
This is from outside attendees, Pak, not from SGPP student.
Or from public? Yeah.
Yes, this is from public attendees.
So hopefully, Veronica, you are from hotel business also. Why you are so interested in knowing about hotel?
Yeah, Mbak Veronica, are you there?
Mbak Retno, Bu Veronica is from Ancora.
Oh, I see. From Ancora Foundation.
No,
The
from
one
Ancora,
that,
Ancora Group.
Yeah, from Ancora Group, that the one that Pak Gita managed also, Pak Hermawan. Ancora Group. This is the foundation that owned by Pak Gita Wiryawan. Hello, Pak Hermawan, do you hear my voice? Mas Oni, it seems there's a little bit delay in the connection. If Ibu Veronica here, you may ask your question directly, Ibu Vero.
Hi, Mbak.
Yeah, go ahead, Ibu Veronica. We'll give you the time to ask directly.
Yes, actually, my question is just as a comments to Pak Hermawan notes about Bali. I agree with Pak Hermawan that Indonesia has all ingredients for tourism business. So that's why I just want to know more about from Pak Hermawan, because he is the specialist and what we can do to promote Indonesia and Bali in particular. So nothing to do with Ancora business actually, just a questions. Terima kasih Pak Hermawan.
Yeah. So sorry, the system was down. So may I continue the answer?
Yes, of course, Pak Hermawan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Number one, Bali is strong because the king of Ubud, the king of whatever. So inviting all the Western guy to teach the art of painting and everything, even the Western guy helping the kecak dance to be more popular. And who promote Bali? The Western guy, actually. Yeah. So number two, if you are strong brand, it's very easy to be back. So that's why my advice, if you have hotel in Bali, the same. Now don't push your customer to be back here. But believe me, the customer will come first to Bali. Yeah, in tourism, we believe that maybe staycation will be first. So if I get bored at home for 2 months, I will go to Arya Duta to stay, work from hotel, because they claim that they are safe. And then after that, local domestic tourism, go to close destination, to near destination. But Bali is so special. Chinese tourists will come. So prepare the standard about cleanliness, healthiness, and safety. And you see so many big name, international hotel chain already do co-branding with credible brand in health to do some procedure. We will open soon after the flight open, but with new procedure. And they even give special brand for the safety, for the cleanliness, and the healthy.
Okay, Ibu Veronica, I guess, yeah, that's a...
Terima kasih, Pak Hermawan. It's a very helping notes from you.
Yeah,
Pak.
please contact us if you need more, because we have Marketplace Tourism division. So if I may know, which hotel in Bali do you have?
Currently, we don't have any hotel yet, Pak. It's still under constructions.
In
But,
which area?
Nusa Dua, Pak. Bali National Golf at this moment.
Oh, Bali
National
National.
Golf.
Okay,
Bali
okay.
National. Okay.
Yeah, so I'm the advisor to the Bali governor. I'm the advisor to the 7 governors actually in Indonesia, including Bali. And I have a museum in Ubud. Now the royal family of Ubud, Cho Aceh is also the vice governor, is like my brother. And I know so many bupati, so many tourism agency in Bali. So if you need us more, please contact us. Yeah, Veronica.
Will do,
Okay.
Pak. Terima kasih.
Thank you, Ibu Veronica. And for the next one, we'll have a question from SGPP student, Pak, from Mas Boy Anugrah. Mas Boy, are you ready? If you are, you may ask your question directly to Pak Hermawan, please. Go ahead, Mas Boy. Mas Boy, are you there? Hello, Mas Boy. So while waiting Mas Boy, I'll skip Mas Boy and continue with the next question. This one is from Mas Primadi. Mas Primadi, are you here? Would you like to ask your question directly or should I read it for you? Mas Primadi Wahyu Widagdo. Mas Primadi is asking, do you think that the mainland Chinese and Indian also understand culture like Japan? That's the question, Pak Hermawan.
Yeah, not so easy. Not so easy. To be honest, not so easy. Because mainland Chinese is not so experienced like Japan. Even Korea must learn a lot from Japan. Japan actually colonized Indonesia for many 3.5 years. My father still remember how bad is the situation, but they can reposition themselves. They can listen, they can study, social, cultural, and blah, 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 blah. That's why they are dominant in Southeast Asia. China, they have money now. They have money, they have connection, and they are dominant in Africa now because Africa really needs their money. But Southeast Asia is different. Southeast Asia is not that desperate like Africa. So it's not easy to teach the mainland Chinese guy to come to Indonesia appropriately. Usually they lobby the power. They forget about to talk with the community. Yeah, they are thinking that like in China, if you already solve the problem with the government in China, so everybody will follow you. But political system is different from here in China, because if you study public policy, you will understand, right? So different country, different political system, and they are thinking that central government, strong central government will solve everything. Not happen in Indonesia. So we have to be patient. We have to balance between Japan, Korea, and China. So my advice always to the government people, don't ignore them. They will be stronger after COVID-19. There will be more balanced situation in the international audience. Especially now, Trump is playing with tricks again. Now, facing the election, nearer and nearer, he blamed China. He blamed China for this COVID. This is the trick of Trump to make the traditional American happy. Don't even think that US all are educated. The educated community will think that, wow, like CNN and everything, Trump is crazy. So many things that he does not want to believe his health minister sometime, and then he does not believe on the and it believe chloroquine, chloroquine is useful, and then always trying to battle with everything, while China is harmonious because central government. Chinese, mainland Chinese, if you try to understand the history, if you want to understand the culture, you must understand the history. Kishore Mahbubani, in his lecture in YouTube, you can go to Kishore Mahbubani. China was glorious in 1,800 years. And the last 200 years, they are suffering. Because from Opium War, so many people think that Opium War only involving the British guy, but some writers already talk about how American is involved also. That's why there is a history, but they don't like each other. And America now is like the hero of democracy, trying to export everything to all over the world, but not everybody familiar with that. And the culture is not fit. Like Francis Fukuyama, after the Cold War, he is Japanese, but he lived in US. His wife is American. He claimed in his book, The Last Man, the end of everything. Liberal democracy is everything. And then the teacher of Francis Fukuyama, Samuel Huntington, 2 years later, talk about the clash of civilization. And people starting to believe him when 9/11 happened. Wow, Islam civilization. They want to go rise, take attention to the world. And since then, now clash of civilization rise again. You must understand the culture. That is what I always talk about in China, in Japan, in Korea. You must understand the culture, civilization. People will get angry, not about the economy. Even we need your money, we need you invest. But if you don't know how to behave in a very good behavior according to the country, civilization, and culture, to me, creativity, culture, and civilization, and then you will fail. So China, I think, will be stronger after COVID-19. Even Johari Oratmangun, our ambassador, told me about now, after COVID almost done in China, still there is a new cases. Now, Chinese government through Xi Jinping, President Xi Jinping already declared that digital money will go against US dollar because they cannot beat US dollar. West is still strong. Everything The best business school, the best government school is in US. And they send so many students to US. They send so many students to Europe in order to understand, but they don't use it 100%. They combine it with Chinese culture, Chinese history. So that's why Kishore Mahbubani, so many misunderstanding about China also in US. They don't sell the ideology itself, but they sell their civilization. They want to be recognized also. The Chinese civilization and together with Islamic civilization, with Western civilization, the three civilizations by Huntington are valid and serious to be considered in this era, especially in the post-COVID era. That is my answer.
Culture will take very much insights. Yes, it's very interesting topic, Pak. And I agree with your insights. So we have a couple more questions, Pak. This one is from Mas Boy. So are you ready, Mas Boy, to ask your question directly?
Do you hear me, Mbak Reno?
Yeah, okay.
Okay, thank you very much, moderator. Good afternoon, Professor Hermawan Kertajaya.
Are you a student?
Yes, my name is Boy. I am the student of SGPP Batch 6, Pak.
From which company?
Yeah, I'm currently working for People Consultative Assembly of the Republic of Indonesia as the expert staff, Pak Hermawan.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, my question is regarding my last experience. I had worked in Astra International Company for more or less 5 years, since 2010 until 2015, Pak Hermawan. And if I'm not mistaken, the grand strategy of Astra as the company in doing their business is that by doing what we call a value chain strategy. It means that they try to connect their various business each other. For example, among car sales, insurance, financing, and also after sales service in one big chain, Pak Hermawan.
Yeah.
The strategy is good in a normal condition. However, in my opinion, in dealing with the COVID-19 pandemic, the value chain strategy will be in turbulence because the problem in one sector will be giving impact to another sector. So what I'm really asking is that the resilience of value chain strategy in dealing with the COVID-19 pandemic. How do you see the situation and how to overcome the situation? Thank you very much, Pak Hermawan.
Okay, this is good question. Value chain strategy is very important. You know how Japanese is good in using ASEAN, not only Indonesia, to be the supply chain, value chain for their automotive. Not everything in one country. When ASEAN was starting with new economic community, they took the opportunity. They have factory in Vietnam for spare part, probably some spare part made in Thailand, and maybe because Indonesia has market, they develop the Kijang is here, and we are proud. We produce Kijang, we design Kijang, yes, but not all spare part from Indonesia. Japanese is very good. I always tell my Korean friend, see Japanese, they have supply chain. While Samsung was out from Indonesia and moved to Korea because they see the opportunity in Korea very fast. This is the weakness of Korea. Korea is very fast to make decision. But people think that the commitment of Japanese is more long-term. So they just move from Indonesia. Samsung factory goes to Vietnam because, as you know, Vietnam, like China, one central government. So you dealing with the government is okay. In Indonesia, you cannot. You cannot, even you friend with Pak Jokowi, you cannot do whatever you like. This is democratic system. And the weakness of Korean is always pali-pali. Fast, 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 fast. They are not patient like Japanese. Japanese is very patient. Bottom up, top down. Bottom up, top down. Not only top down. Korea is top down. And Chinese is, to be honest, is worse than Korea, especially with the anti-Chinese sentiment in Indonesia. All of us know that some people use this COVID-19 to use it. I will not talk about politics. I'm not expert in this politics, but if you are in public policy, if you are public policy guy in the government, you are civil servant, yeah, you must maintain your DNA, because politician is come and go, only 5 years maybe as the mayor, but they try to translate the political vision into public value. And you are the one who analyze, giving advice and everything. But back to the value chain strategy. Value chain strategy is very important. You know why China is strong now? Because they dominate the supply chain. They can give you the same product, the same spare part, even without brand, with cheaper price. Even now, the labor cost is higher than in Indonesia. But because of the infrastructure is already there, so the total cost will be less expensive. This is amazing. And US, before Donald Trump, US is ignoring this. And when China was accepted by WTO many years back, that is the starting point, that China can go to the world with many opportunities. Used to be close to them, but after WTO open for them, and they are strong because they have supply chain. They can produce from mainstream to downstream. And we are comfortable by importing, like so many textile factory in Bandung still depend on the raw material from China. Yeah, good quality and better price. Why not? Why not? As a businessman, they cannot ignore it. But as a government, if you are in public policy, you must think long term. Give incentive if they do supply chain. And if we talk about investment and everything, force them to invest in Indonesia. Otherwise, stop import. But always, government always try to balance, because trade-off, you need short-term money, right? Short-term business. If you want to export, you must do import, right? I will talk about trade diplomacy with Vice Minister of Foreign Affairs on the 4th of June. I just spoke to the diplomat in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs 2 days ago. But I will talk again about trade. And supply chain by Astra, it's very good. If you have supply chain already, you are more ready. That's why people think about automotive, people think about Astra, because they have showroom, they have financing, they have insurance, they have everything. Even factory now is not 100% by Astra, 50-50. Now Japanese came, and Japanese say, hey, you have value chain, you get more profit from the non-factory. I'm the producer, how can? And then now step by step, they want to have more capital in the factory. Fortunately, Astra has the supply chain already. Is that not good in the COVID? Yes, some not good, but they are still strong. Like what I mentioned, if you have DNA in automotive, you know how to survive. You don't need to get bankrupt. They know automotive business in deep because they have supply chain. In different industry now, they try to diversify. Not so deep like in automotive. That's why automotive still very important sector. But because they have good corporate brand name, when they go to property, everybody want to buy property also from Astra. Even they just successful in launching the new property by using the Astra name, right? So supply chain is very important. Now, yes, because of demand side and supply side problem, you will see a little bit disruption. But believe me, they will return fast if the demand is already back. And they are very good in preparing and actualizing. SPA, they apply SPA concept very, very properly.
Okay, Mas Boy, I hope that answering your questions, because
Thank you.
yeah,
Thank you.
we still have 8 more questions, Pak, so I will read it quite fast for you. This one is from Mbak Natalia Widyasari. Thank you for the opportunity to learn from you, Pak. Thanks also for SGPP for this valuable webinar. Looking into the latest news about crowds in many places in Indonesia and people simply ignore the COVID protocols, how do you think local government have to respond this trend strategically? Because every law enforcement cues just trigger people to challenge further. The contra camp keep trying to ignore the protocol, and the pro camp also create memes out of this ignorance. In the long run, I think it will make officers in the field have low moral in doing their jobs. Thank you, Pak.
Yeah, so you know lah, culturally we are different from Korea. You cannot follow Korea. Korea, there is no lockdown actually. But the president declared that our citizen has the courage to limit our own individual freedom to get greater freedom for the society. So they limit themselves. And Korean culture, even they are democratic in political system, but they are in fighting spirit always, because they are still at war with North Korea. While Indonesia is a wealthy country, you know, at least our perception is we are kolam susu, negara kolam susu. Yeah, so we are not trained to fight. Singapore, small, but fighting. Because if they don't fight, they are squeezed by Malaysia and Indonesia. So, you see, culturally, even in Indonesia, is different. Jakarta and local government is different. And if you learn public policy, just like I give you the universe of public policy, you must understand the social culture. You cannot just follow, hey, I will force you to do this one. Cannot. If your people will not accept it, you'll be in trouble. You'll be in trouble. So if you learn about social culture, superstructure, structure and infrastructure, and ecological structure in the basic. Ecological structure, nature. Nature goes to infrastructure in social culture, not only infrastructure in road, bridges, and everything. That is part of the infrastructure. And then structure and superstructure. And who is in the superstructure? Artists, religious leader, ideologies, the philosopher. Wow, you must use that one. My advice to my mayor friend, use that one. So use the superstructure, superstructural in the highest. Don't use only policy. Your policy will not be effective. Lockdown, 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 they will no lockdown. That's why the role of the religious leader, because we are Pancasila. We are a religious country. Yeah, we follow our religious leaders. Don't ignore them. Use them. Use artists. If so many singers will sing about Indonesia terserah in many versions, I'm worried. So please use the artist also to appeal to the citizen, and philosopher and ideologies also, because they have their own followers, and the citizen will follow voluntarily if the government, the official government, instruct that it's not like management and subordinate, but leader with follower at the same level. Thank you.